What's up, y'all? I'm trying to make this impromptu video. I just had this thoughts that's been running through my mind, and I wrote them out here. And I'm just gonna tell y'all a little bit about the last couple of days and what's been going on for me. So Wednesday, started off to be an amazing day. Like, I felt good. I woke up early, just getting stuff going. And then I get to work, have lunch, get up from lunch. Well, the table actually in the break room. Could barely bear weight on my foot. And I was just like, what? And I've had feet weight bearing issues from working at a hospital, being on my feet all the time, which I still am for both jobs that I have currently. And normally I can just readjust my shoe, readjust my foot inside the shoe, and just deal with it, and then it'll eventually go away. Um, but this particular time, it felt like I had broke my foot some type of way again, because it's the same exact foot that I broke last year when I fell. And I was just like, what in the world is happening? Like, what in the world is going on? And so I tried to elevate it. I tried to turn my foot like this, because normally if it gets stiff, if it gets tight, and I like kind of roll it around, it will pop, and then it will be fine. But nothing worked. So I ended up having to leave early. I was literally like limping, dragging my foot, and it just brought me back to last year when I literally had to work an 8-hour day, back and forth as a secretary on my unit at the hospital, and then go all the way down the hallway and walk all the way through the garage, dragging my foot to get home, only to elevate it, ice it, and then put on some Air Force Ones and go to my younger cousin's probate at the time, when she was pledging a sorority, and whole time didn't know it was broke, because depending on how I would move my foot, it was send like this crazy sharp pain real quick through my foot, and then it will be fine. And then, like I said, a couple days later I found out that it was broke. Had the boot, no surgeries or anything, got two different boots, and it just brought me all the way back there. And what really scared me was because I thought that I couldn't, like, I thought it was broke because I couldn't, like, wiggle my toes. Now, my left foot, I can't really spread them apart, anyway, because I think once you break a bone, nothing ever goes back the way that it's supposed to. And so, I was terrified of that. I get to the hospital, well, the emergency department of a hospital here, and I just was just like, what is going on with this care? Like, I was telling the nurse when I first got back there. Now, mind you, I left work early. I don't leave. I normally don't get off work until like after 5. So I left work right at 3. Got there probably around 4:30 ish. Maybe I left work a little bit. No, I left work at like around 3:30, and I got there about 4:30 ish, 4:45. Didn't go back into the room till about almost 6, and it wasn't even a lot of people in the waiting room. Then I'm telling the nurse, like, it's not my ankle. I broke my foot last year. I feel like I re-injured it. It is painful. It's swollen. I can't feel my toes. Like, it's at the bottom of my foot. Like, it's so painful. Like, I can't even walk. I literally had to call somebody to come out with a wheelchair at the emergency room to bring me in. And so she's going through, the protocol or whatever. And I'm sitting there. The cold air is just feeling like it's just making my foot even worse. They haven't given me any pain medicine, not really coming in to check a lot. And I'm just like, Lord, black people really do not get the best care. And they don't listen to us. And I pride myself in having a high tolerance for pain. But when I tell y'all, it was just like, what the heck? I wanted somebody to cut my foot off. And if I get to that point, that's how I know, like, I'm truly, truly in pain. I mean, I was crying on and off. to the point where I literally had to start singing um, a gospel song, and praying, and just calling on the name of Jesus. And like I told my mama, when I did that, oh, prayer works. God is real, because it took that pain from like a 20. I'm being dramatic, but it was like a 12 to maybe like an 8.5, to where I was like, okay. Then here comes somebody that's coming to do an X-ray of my ankle. And I'm like, it's not my ankle, it's my foot. And she was just like, well, the doctor wrote the order for the ankle. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with my ankle, but okay. She was like, do you want me to go check? And then she came back, yeah, he wrote it's not for the foot, it's for the ankle. So if he wants me to do the ankle, then I'll have to just come back. So she did the ankle. It was fine. He comes back maybe 45 minutes later. Oh, everything in your ankle it looks good. I said, it's not my ankle, it's my foot. I took the blanket off my foot and showed him the areas in which it was hurting, and he was like, okay, well, they didn't tell me that. The nurse wrote the order for it. And I'm thinking, oh man, this X-ray lady just told me that you wrote the order for it. Like, but it brought, and I was just like, yeah, because the nurse, when I first got back there, kept on saying like, how did you hurt your ankle? How did you hurt your ankle? And I kept telling her. So I was like, she wasn't listening to me, which I did not appreciate. Then once he finally came and said, okay, we're going to do the X-ray of your foot, they came to the X-ray. He never showed me the X-rays. He never told me exactly what the issue was in any of the images. He didn't even come back first. It was an assistant, or tech as they call them in the ER. She came back. She had some ace bandages. Like, well, it's not broke, so he's gonna send you home. He's gonna do whatever. So she wraps it up. It's not wrapped tight at all. Because it's to compress the pain, like compress your foot to get, the circulation, all that stuff. Then he comes after she leaves and told me the medicine he was going to give me, what it's going to do, who I needed to follow up with, and then he's gone. And by this time, it's like hitting close to 7. And then here comes a male nurse who comes in and was like, with all my discharge paperwork, another ace bandage, and it's like, oh, you already got your foot wrapped. Well, that's good. Okay, well, here's this. He wants you to follow up with this person and send your medicine to this pharmacy. Okay, well, we'll have a good evening. I'm sorry about your foot. And I'm looking at him sideways, like literally like this, y'all. I said, is there a wheelchair? Because I can't walk. I've been sitting here with my foot elevated, not high enough for the swelling to go down at all. The ice isn't really helping at the moment because it keeps sliding off my foot, because y'all know they got them bags. And I'm like, I can't bear weight on my foot. Like, I need help to go to the car. And he's like, nobody brought you? No, I drove from work here. Like, I can't. It's even worse now. My foot is literally swollen to the point where it's numb and tingling and painful at the same time. So then he's like, oh, okay. Goes and gets me, comes back, and it takes him to the car. And that's that. Get home Wednesday nights. Finally it took like an hour for my medicine to be ready. Thank God that my mama went to go get it for me. But I just had a breakdown. And in that breakdown, I was just like crying and just upset and frustrated. And I'm like, I cannot deal with this. It seems like every time that I turn around, there is some type of ailment, there's some type of health issue, there's something that is going on in my life or with me that just puts a hold on something or makes me feel as though like, what the heck? And if I'm being honest, I know that I'm not the only one. And like I told my mom in the midst of my breakdown, I know that there's people that are having issues and problems that are way worse off than me. But I am human. And I know for a fact that enough is enough. Like, I cannot understand for the life of me why this happened, where it came from, because I was fine. I've been fine. I never thought I would have to wear this boot again. Like, I wish I could show y'all, but I'm not, because I got this little moo on. But that's my business. But even in the midst of that, I was like, I know this is temporary. I know this is just things that happen. And like I say all the time, and like my mom reminded me, trouble comes on every side. We're going to have troubles. We're going to have issues. We're going to have things that we don't understand. We're going to have things that happen. And yes, it is frustrating. Yes, it is annoying. Yes, it does make you upset. Yes, it does feel like you're getting somewhere and then boom, something happens and then you get pushed back. But I'm like, God, and even in my head, I don't even know if I vocalized it, but I'm like, God, what is it that I need to hear from you? What is it that I need to understand? Because I'm working every day. I'm trying to make ends meet. I'm trying to be there for people. I'm trying to hold my end up of my Christian walk. I'm trying to do all of these things to keep me focused, to keep my mind on things, to keep my head above water, to keep just from me just going off the deep end, or me going back into a dark space, or me feeling overwhelmed and anxious about every single thing. And I'm like, God, what is it? I'm like, I know that just like last year when I fell and I broke my foot and I had to be off for that long period of, I was about to say periodically. Shout out to that meme. I gotta find it. But I had to be like off for a long time. Like, that was my valley. Like, that was my transition, my transformation period from the summer all the way to October. Like, around this time is when I started getting better. It's when I started getting ready and prepared to go back to work last year. And then it's just like, but I knew that I needed that. I needed that breakup. I needed that time. I needed my foot to break. It was like break after break, like heartbreak, foot break, like breaking off old habits, breaking off old attitudes, breaking off old mindsets. Like, it was a time where I was shedding and growing and evolving. And this is like, but that doesn't mean that was the end of it. And I didn't get this revelation until yesterday, y'all. Until yesterday. Because I've been trying for the life of me to figure out why I've been so agitated. Why I've been so heavy in my mind. And I do the videos. I do the vlogs. I pray every day. I sing songs of worship every day. I pray before I go to sleep every night. I read the word of God. And it's just like, why do I feel this heaviness? Like, God, what is going on? And like I say all the time, this is truth and transparency with me, Audrey B. So I'm telling y'all, like, these are the thoughts that go through my head. Like, I know that I got bills, but I'm not the only one. I know that, I feel like I work too hard and I still don't bring enough in, but I'm still trusting you, God. And I don't want you to think that I'm dependent upon money or dependent on somebody else to make me happy, or I'm going backwards, or I'm forgetting you because I'm getting the things that I pray for. Like, I want to maintain the relationship. I want to continue to be faithful to you because I know that you're going to be faithful to me, and I know that you hear me. I know that you understand me. But God, enough is enough. Like, what am I supposed to do? And I kid you not, I was thinking about this the entire night on Wednesday. And I was just like, there's a lesson in this somewhere. I know that now. And that's growth. I know that now. It ain't a woe is me. I'm not trying to be the victim, but I'm like, God, why? And I couldn't for the life of me, y'all, figure out what it was or how to explain it to other people, how I was feeling. Because I not that I want to be the strong one, not that I want to be the super uber, like, oh God, like, I don't want to be seen as the strong one all the time. Like, I don't want to seem like I got it all together outwardly, and then inwardly I'm just messed up. I don't want to be that person ever again. And so I was scrolling through Instagram, and again, battling in my mind, spending time with God, like scrolling through, but like, I could be doing this right now, or I could be reading right now, or I could be studying. Even my mama said something to me, and I kind of snapped on her, because she was like, because I told her, and I was telling the boo, like, when I finally got from the bathroom to my room, y'all, that same night that my foot was really, really messed up, I was just like, she was like, you need to get back to doing writing. And I'm like, I do that. Like, I literally said that. And in my mind, I'm like, but you haven't done that in a couple of weeks. Like, you really haven't sat down and like spent that intimate time with God, because you're so busy. Like, you're trying to make sure your niece is straight. You're trying to make sure you got food on the table. You're trying to make sure you calculating all the hours in order for you to make this income meet this. And it's just like, this is another moment, this is another test of your faith, this is another situation where you're going to have to sit down, be still, and truly share that intimate time. Like, God knows that you work 2 jobs. He knows that you are doing the best that you can, and you're trying, but you still have to give him your all. You still have to give them everything that you was giving him last year. You need to continue to give that, so that you can receive what it is that he has for you. And I tell people that, I get on the videos and I say that, but it's like I said, it was like this light bulb that went off, and I was just like, okay. So I'm gonna sit, and I'm going to listen, and I'm going to read, and I'm going to watch, and I'm going to pray. And again, like I said, I was scrolling through Instagram yesterday. I'm trying not to cry. Okay, I was scrolling through Instagram yesterday, and I saw Tabitha Brown, and she has, she's America's favorite auntie, and she had a video about sharing your story, sharing your testimony, how your life and your story is not just for you, it's for other people. And as I've said before, to be that relatable witness, to be someone that can be a light in a dark situation for others, especially people who are going through similar situations as you have, to be a voice for a generation, to share your story, to be so that people can know that they can overcome. And I have this rock that I got when I worked at the hospital on the cancer unit. I can't remember, it's Gilda's Place or something like that, kind of support group for cancer patients. And this just popped in my mind, and I'm looking at it right now, and it says, you were given this mountain to show others that it can be moved. And I've been having that rock for a couple of years now, but all of that tied in together, and I was just like, okay, because I've been battling, like I said, in my mind, okay, what do I want to do for my YouTube channel? What do I want to do? Do I want to change the name of it? Like, if I change the name of it, like, what would people think if I just hurry up and change the name of it? Like, just constantly, just what would people think? Or, but it's my channel, and I believe God told me to do this channel, so I'm going to go with what I want to go with. Is it too much to keep changing because it was something already, then you change it again? If you change it again, what people going to say? Or they going to ask you why? What you going to tell them? Do you want to just only do vlogs and cut out the encouraging videos? Do you make 2 channels? Like, all of this stuff, like, formed in my mind. People ain't really commenting on it no more. People ain't really sharing it. And every time I say, Lord, but somebody who's watching it is going to scroll across somebody's screen one day, and it's going to help them. So I'm going to keep on doing it, because I'm not going to allow my thoughts or my overthinking or the enemy to tell me to stop doing what I'm doing, because I truly believe God told me to make this channel. And so then I hear that about sharing your testimony, and I'm like, okay, people have told me this all the time. She even talked about writing a book, and I'm like, but I can't write no book. But I love writing when I can, and I'm just like, but I can't write no book though. But I've been through so much, I can write a book. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, what else is it that you want me to do? So then I get off of that, and then I get back on my phone. You know how we do. And that's another reason why I feel like I've been so scatterbrained is because I'm doing too much social media. So I gotta continue to, keep the balance or stay off it as much as possible. Um, and then I come across Daryl Walls, who his handle on Instagram is Music City, and he's a part of the gospel group with his sisters and brother, the Walls group. And I believe it was maybe last year. It felt like it was not that long ago, but maybe last year. There's some things that came out about him in his personal life, and because he's a gospel artist, you know how religious churchy people do. They throw stones, they judge, they condemn, they talk about, they cancel you. And so literally on his title of this live, you can save it. It said my testimony. Now I was like, well, here it is again. And normally when people do their lives and it's recorded, I might watch a couple of minutes of it and then go on about my day. But something was pulling on my heart to truly, truly watch this. And I was just like, it was about 58 minutes, about an hour, and I was just like, we spend hours doing things for no reason or pointless things. Why not listen to this? And so he got to talking about the same emotions, the same feelings, the same thoughts that I was having, due to his personal life, due to his issues that he was having, thoughts of, I'm doing all of this because this is what I have to do. I'm praying for people. I'm encouraging people, but inside I'm really messed up. Inside my brain is scattered, and I don't want it to be here. I want it to be back here. I don't want to think about those things. I shouldn't be thinking about those things. I feel guilty because I'm thinking that way, because I know I'm not supposed to think that way. And then it's just like, God, like, help me. Like, seriously help me, because I don't want to go back to that dark place, but stuff is getting real. Stuff is getting heavy. And he was talking about how, he felt suicidal. He felt ashamed. He felt guilty. He felt judged. He was anxious being in spaces around people where he felt like, okay, I'm just going to go do what I got to do, go home. And I felt that way before. Not saying that's how I felt, but just in your head, Jesus, just in your head so much that you start to believe the lies, that you start to literally see the things that are plaguing you. And you're looking at other people like, are you really who you say you are? Like, you're kind of like just, having dreams about things, and then waking up and having attitudes with people. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just like, he said he had to keep choosing every day. Even though he felt so bad on the inside, he kept choosing to feel good, choosing to feel less stressed out, or less less anxious or overwhelmed. But he was really, it was just a battle. And he was like, he didn't want to do things. He didn't want to commit to doing things. He would try to find ways to get out of it, but he said he kept having this like argument, bickering back and forth with God. Like, God is telling you to do something, but you're like, no, God, I don't want to do it. And then God's like, but you got this. Like, just do it anyway, and you're gonna be a blessing. Something's good's gonna come out of this. You're gonna do it. But God, this doesn't add up. These people don't like me for real. These people ain't talking to me for real. These people don't want me. These people, and it's just like, you just keep arguing back and forth. But at the end of the day, God knows, right? And it's just like, and he said there was a show that he was to do at a church, or a performance he was supposed to do at a church. He didn't want to do it. He said the vibe at the sound check and all of these things, y'all, was just like, the people was kind of like, and he was just like, I don't even know if I want to do this, but he did it anyway. He said, gave it his 130,000%, which I do too. But even when but again, when you get back to yourself and your space, you still don't feel a difference. You're giving your all to other people, but you still don't feel a difference on the inside. And so he was just like, that next day, there, and no, even in those moments, at that church that he sung at, there were songs that were being said, there were words that were being spoken that spoke to his heart, and that he said the next day when he woke up, there were people who were texting him, there were people who were calling him and writing him and just telling him how he showed up, how he performed, what he did, what he said, how he sung, how he just allowed God to use him in that moment, help them check themselves, because it showed them that even in the face of adversity, even in the midst of people judging and talking about you and condemning you, and one minute they like you, the next minute they don't, or they used to like you but they found out something about you, so now they don't mess with you no more. Like, even in the midst of all of that, still getting up there and doing what God told you to do by singing a song and witnessing through song and worshiping through song, helped other people be like, well, if he can do it, I can do it too. And what he said afterwards was like, that's it. That's it. Like, not only is he a relatable witness, not only is he being used, not only is he chosen, not only is he called, but he's human. And we go through stuff. And he said God told him in that moment when people were giving him, words of encouragement, like, "Oh, you really helped me," and affirming him, God said, you passed the test. Because you didn't give up when you could. You wanted to, but you were obedient to me anyway. And he said in that moment, a weight was just lifted. And I know that weight. I know how that feels to be weightless, to be like, oh, I don't feel that no more. And as soon as he said that, I felt that same way. I've been had heavy feelings my entire life since a child. And last year was the first time I've ever felt weightless in my life. And I was, and he said that, I wrote it down because it just hit me, and I was like, woo! Because in my moment of why me, it's like, why not you, right? And he said, we ask God to change us. We ask God to brand us, as he says, and make us like him. We ask God, and we say that we want to be kingdom. But when we go through things that we know as Christians are developmental, transformational things, we be like, why God? I can't do this. I don't want to do this. And it's like, we know we're chosen. We know we're called. We've been called by God. We give him our yes. We sing about being obedient. We sing about giving our yes. We say, God, I want to give you my yes. God, use me. God, make me. I'm available. Do what you got to do through me to bring other people to you. And all these things that I've said, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you have said as well. But in the moments of us saying yes, we're not thinking about what is going to come when we say yes. We don't know what we will have to go through, what we will have to endure, or what we will have to experience to get to what God has for us. And we tell him we want to be kingdom, like I said. But in the midst of him making us like him and forming us like him and molding us to be like him, even when trials and trouble comes in our lives, will we stick it out? Will we stick it out? And that's a question that I truly had to ask myself. When I tell y'all that the revelation that God gave him helped me, I know that wasn't just by coincidence. I was supposed to be scrolling on Instagram at that particular time for that video to pop up in my algorithm for me to see it and for me to be like, I don't know if I want to watch it, but something's telling me I need to. He was an answer for me. He was truly an answer for me, because I'm always the person that has an answer for somebody else, can help somebody else. But I feel like when it comes to myself, I don't be knowing. I don't know why I'm going through this. I don't know why I feel this way. But I told God that I don't want to go back to the old Audrey. I don't want to go back to the way that I used to be before his presence came to change me. So whatever it is that he has to do to get me to see that, to get me to trust that, to get me to believe that and stop being so in my head, I can't run from it. I can't say no, because like I said in my video before this one, God knows best. And like I said, we say that we want to be kingdom. We say we want to be so sold out for God. We say we want to live the way he wants us to do. But when he puts us in a situation or allows a situation to happen in that test, are we going to stick it out? Are we still going to trust him? Are we still going to believe? Are we still going to say yes even in the midst of our trouble? Will we give our yes even when it makes no sense? Just like my foot, I've been fine for a whole year. I've been fine, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I can't even walk. Makes absolutely no sense. I don't understand it. Gotta be off work for 2 days, but even in the midst, like I've been telling myself, I gotta find something to be grateful for. I still have my leg. I still have the ability to talk, to speak. I still have plenty of sick days, so I'm still gonna get paid. Like, I have to think about those things, y'all. Like, are we willing to still give our yes? Are you willing to still give your yes even when it doesn't make sense? Even when it's just like things are happening, you're frustrated, you're annoyed, you don't understand it. Like, even when stuff is taking too long, even when you don't know the answer to stuff, even when, like, you're doing everything you can and it still don't add up, it still don't measure up, people still ain't acting right, people still don't see you for who you are, people still don't act like you think they should, people still don't recognize you, people still don't appreciate you, people still aren't grateful for the things that you do or have or done for them. Your people, like, your job is not bringing you the income that you want to. You're being twisted, turned, and pulled aside on every side. You're being stretched. You're being just, seems like you're being tossed from side to side, and you see trouble on the TV, you see trouble in your family, you see trouble with your friends, you ain't heard from friends that you were once super close to, you see trouble in your community, like all around the world, just so much. And a lot of us, we talk the talk, we say we want, but do we really? Do you really want to be kingdom? But like I just said, will you keep saying yes even in the midst of your trouble? 1 Peter chapter 4 verses 12 through 19 talks about suffering for Christ, how it is really a gain, how trials come on every side, but our trials bring us closer to God when we stop looking at the problem and look up to him, and we change our perspective. We find things to be grateful for. We praise him and thank him in the midst of it, and we seek him and acknowledge him in the midst of it. And when we let him in, and by doing so, we will see his glory. And in that same chapter of Peter, in verse 19, it says, if you're suffering in a way that pleases God, keep doing what's right. Keep doing what's right. And I'm going to continue to keep on doing what's right. I don't understand it, but I'm going to do what's right anyway. And I'm going to trust my life to God, who created me because he will never fail me. And another thing that he had said was that once God told him he passed the test, he said, now I'm covering you. He said you felt uneasy. You felt away because you were uncovered. You were mad at God. I've been mad at God, not really wanting to admit it. And he said he was mad at God as well. And like, you allowed this to happen. You let them do this to me. You allowed all these bad things to happen, Lord. And so I ain't gonna give you what I normally give you. You know, just being petty. Just being petty. And so we were uncovered. We weren't and that's when we're uncovered, that's when we get those heavy feelings. We become overthinkers, we become anxious, we become doubtful, and we worry a lot, we question a lot. But that's why it's so important, y'all, in the midst of your troubles, to stay close to God. Don't allow your trouble to take you away. Because that's how we become uncovered. But when you acknowledge God in it, He covers us. He covers us. And we are covered by His blood every day. Every day. We just have to make a decision to stay there. Even when it's rough, even when we think that we can figure it out and get it done faster than He can, there's a lesson in it. Just like there was a lesson in all that I had to go through in my life, there's a lesson in me having to just be in this bed and rest. And I thank God that now I see, now He gave me my answer. I understand exactly why I was feeling so bad. I wasn't giving Him all that I was supposed to give. I was doing things because I had to make a video, or I was doing things because it was my routine. I felt like I wasn't. I feel like I wasn't doing it because I was like this, like I was last year, just basking in His peace, basking in His joy. Now I wasn't, arguing, fighting, cussing people. I wasn't doing all of that, but I just felt like I was drifting off to the side. And in God's way, He had to show me, you got to come back on over here, because you're getting a little too far away from me. Just because you're busy, just because you're frustrated, don't forget me. Don't forget me. And it when I tell y'all, God is so good, because I really needed that video. And I'm so grateful that Daryl was obedient to make that video and tell people about it and share his testimony. I'm so glad that Tabitha Brown knows God and stays in His presence and speaks and is obedient, because like I said, just repetitive things that I see or hear lets me know that's God's talking to me, that God's telling me things, especially when it's it just aligns with things that I've been feeling. I know that's God, and He uses people as His vessels. And I'm just I'm not down, I'm not out. I just gotta be still and let God fight for me. I do. Exodus 14:14. And before I get off of here, I just wanted to say one more thing that Daryl said that just shook me to my core. He said that God told him if Jesus suffered for us, what makes us think that we won't have to suffer? But the great thing is that in our suffering, God is walking right there with us. He's walking with us. He'll never leave us. He'll never forsake us. To suffer for Christ is gain. People talking about you, or you doing too much, you done changed. Keep doing it. Keep changing. Keep growing. Keep living the way that God is as predestined for you to live. If you feel like you're ready to throw in the towel, you're not getting what you want, you're praying for things and it's not happening, Keep waiting, keep trusting, keep believing, keep seeking his face. Quit claiming um, negative things. Quit comparing yourself to other people. Quit being anxious. Quit claiming anxiety and claiming depression just because you're choosing to be a victim. Choose victory. Um, Stop oversharing. Stop trying to be the person that has to one up somebody. Stop trying to be the attention seeker. Stop going to social media for validation just because you feel like you need it. God is the validator. God and is the one that gives you what you truly need to feel whole. So you ain't gonna care what other people say. Stop looking to your life as if you have nothing to be grateful for. Be grateful for the things that you already have, whether that's your children, your husband, your spouse, your partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, family, mother, father. Be grateful for what you do have, because when you're grateful for those things, God's going to bless you with the other things that you desire. And even if he doesn't give you what you want, he's already given you what you need. So be grateful for that. And just know that you've been graced for this. God's grace is enough. God's grace is sufficient for all the things. We want God to take away so much, but those things that sometimes that we want God to take away are the things that he's using to bless you, to grow you, to use you, to transform you, to help you. So, as I used to say all the time, or as I not used to, but as God brought back to my memory, like, change your focus and look at life through the lenses of faith, through the perspective of the kingdom, and continue to seek God, because he's worthy, he's faithful, he's good, he loves us, he's real, and he's right there with us in the midst of it all. So continue to give him your yes and stick it out. Don't give him your yes and then backpedal, because that's what the enemy wants you to do, because he wants you to be uncovered. He wants you to stray away. He wants you to doubt. He wants you to be mad. But stay focused. Stay with him. Stay in his presence, because greater is coming. And you will pass this test. And this stuff, my foot stuff, it's temporary. It's not permanent. Our situations that are so frustrating and annoying is temporary. It's not permanent. In due season, in due time, God will make it happen. I'm going to be back. I'm going to be okay. Thank God that I'm able to get up, walk without the crutches, wash my body, change my clothes. Thank God for the little progress that I have, because the big is coming. That's it, y'all. I'm grateful. Love y'all. And I hope that this blessed you and remind you that when you say you want to be kingdom, God's going to make sure it happens. Just got to stick with him. You got to stick with him. Peace.